fourth panelist is also in the medical space. He is the founder and CEO of Innovice, also known as MyHI, a banker and financial expert who has observed many challenges in Tanzania health insurance and healthcare sector, which inspired him to love this issue by creating the mobile application that provides people with access to quality healthcare and affordable insurance plans. Please welcome the CEO and founder of MyHI, Shilton Ulomi. Okay, karibu all to the panelists. Now I would like to invite the moderator of the fireside chat. She's the business manager of the MD of Vodacom Tanzania with experience in product development, brand communication, and business strategy. Passionate about innovation and digital transformation. She's been the project lead of the Vodacom Digital Accelerator program from the start. Please give a lovely welcome to Yvonne Maruma. All right, let's take it away.
Good afternoon, all. Thank you, Rachel, for that warm introduction. And thank you all who are here and also the ones who have joined us through our virtual platform. All right, so this is such an exciting day, and as Rachel had mentioned, our topic today is going to be around the collaborations between the innovation ecosystem and corporates. And who better to have this discussion other than the ones who were with the accelerator from the beginning, from inception to the end. But before we jump into these discussions, can I just get a quick feel from the ones who are here physically? How many of you, just by the show of hands, how many of you are from the corporate world? Thank you. And how many of you are from the startup ecosystem who are innovators? How many of you are entrepreneurs, innovators, and have businesses? Lovely. And I'm going to assume that the rest of you are innovation enthusiasts or observers, or just some people who just came to say hello. Karibuni either way. All right, so the role basically here, whether your role, either you're an innovator, whether you're from the corporate space, whether you're an enthusiast, we hope by the end of this discussion, by the end of this afternoon, at least you get some fresh ideas, new perspectives, and just leave as an ambassador and seeing the possibility of the corporate and the ecosystem, the innovation ecosystem collaborations. So it is through our journey that we hope you get to understand more about the corporate accelerator, the Vodacom Digital Accelerator. As Rachel had mentioned, it is a partnership between SmartLab and Vodacom Tanzania, and it was launched sometime in late 2019 with the aim of supporting early and mid-stage startups. Now let's jump right into our discussion. Okay, before we start our discussion, I'd like to just get a feel. Can you just let us know a little bit about yourselves in terms of the most simplest term, innovation? It's such a buzzword. A lot of people talk about innovation. We are in a space, in a time where people push this word forward. We see a lot of terms coming in, and it's so good now to see that the government have joined in, development partners are into it, we have the academia. A lot of people are quite interested, and they're talking about innovation, the digital economy, digital transformation. But for you personally, what does innovation mean? Let me start right there with you, Edwin. What does innovation mean to you personally?
Thank you, Yvonne, and good afternoon to everyone. Yeah, so innovation, that's very exciting word, especially right now since we are on the digital economy whereby, most of the people, they are relying on different kind of activity through digital. So innovation for me, it's more of trying to find a solution through a challenge. I don't like to call them problem because when you call problem, you don't actually going to be able to act on it. So all these challenges whereby people, which are customers, are going to face, and then now the innovators will come up with a solution in terms of how can we simplify the work around it, either through a platform ecosystem or either through connecting them with the simplicity at which they can make their work done.
Thank you, Edin. And actually, thank you, Edin. And I actually like the fact that you're saying it's more of a solution to a challenge and not a problem. And I think that goes again for us who are in Africa and most of the developing countries. It's a lot, people would say solutions to problems. So it just puts us to a different corner as opposed to the first world countries where for them it's more of challenges to, solutions to challenges rather than problems. I like that. On to you.
Oh, thank you so much. So on my side, innovation is how we make things simpler. Right now we are in digital era whereby, as in the past, to communicate with a person, you had to write a letter and transfer it through a bus, but now you can make it by just a single click on your phone. So that's how communication is right now. So you see that that's how communication has changed from the complex way to simpler. And in the same way, on other stuff or other perspective and areas, that innovation means how we can make things that seem to be complex to be more simpler and are easier for people to engage. Thank you.
Thank you. Simplicity. I like that. Adam, what are your thoughts?
When we are talking about innovation and digital economy, to me is like creation of new technologies, such as hyper connectivity, such as intelligent devices. We have seen Vodacom, like they have that toy. Also, it's all about creating, we say like computing technologies, which simplify the way people consuming stuffs. So when you create all these technologies and you're applying them to the existing economy, actually you're going to change the behavior of how consumers consuming goods, like Edwin said, solutions which will enable consumers to access everything like very, very quickly. Example, like for us, Smart Class, we make it possible now. Nobody's going to look for a tuition here in Tanzania. People, they're coming and using our platform to learn online or just booking for a tutor to go direct to their home place with a single tap. So that is to simplify and to change the way people consume, the consumer behavior. That's all.
Simplicity again and changing of the consumer behavior. All right, Yasin, your thoughts. Very briefly, please, because we're a bit adamant on time.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. To me, the way I understand innovation is creating an opportunity out of the challenge. So I see like if there is a challenge, then you create the opportunities from that challenge. To me, it becomes an innovations. But again, is create a comfortability to a consumer. For instance, for us in Nisima e-dispensary, we let the person at his own place getting an access of the basic medical service. That means the person is staying in a comfort place. It's at home's place. Then we deliver the service at his home doors. So to me, innovations means creating an opportunity from the challenge, but making the consumer being comfortable and enjoy the service.
Thank you, Yasin. Opportunity from challenges. Over to you, Adam. Sorry, John.
Thank you so much, Madam Maruma. I wouldn't differ so much from the rest of the colleagues, but to me, what I feel is that innovation is a challenge, is a self-challenge to a person to find a way to make a complex situation simple, or rather like not settling for what we have right now. Like the moment you start questioning of how could we do this better, that's innovation in itself. So so it's generally how we create, or rather how we establish new solutions to existing challenges. That's what innovation is to me. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Nguvu.
Good afternoon once again, everybody. Thank you, Yvonne. You've heard from all my colleagues, but I want to just add some few points there on innovation. So to me, innovation is a continuous process as we keep improving and addressing the challenges on top of challenges. But however, we must also consider the relevance of that solution, that it has really to address those challenges that are facing a certain community. So for Tanzania, it has to address the challenges that Tanzania is facing. To give you an example, what happened 2 or 3 days ago, people were really not stranded, rather than they were not happy, because they did forget that a couple of years before innovation, they used to queue to buy Luku. But because of innovation, it has been simplified, as other people said, and also it brought efficiency. Though to my colleagues from finance, they have to really understand that innovation sometimes doesn't address efficiency immediately, because as I've said, it's a process. So there are too many attempts before a successful product or innovation. So they have to bear with us, innovators, not to ask for profit from day one. That's it's not easy, because you have to accept a lot of attempts before you get the correct one. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Nguvu. So if I can just summarize what all of you have said, innovation to you, the keywords: opportunity, challenges, relevance, efficiency, right? Now let's move into our discussion, and because we are going to walk through the journey of the accelerator, let us start with you, Nguvu. As the corporate in this partnership, why was it so important for you to embark in this journey, to partner with Smart Labs to form the digital accelerator? Why was it important for Vodacom to be part of this?
Okay. Thanks, Yvonne. You know, for Vodacom, it's so simple because it's part of our DNA that we do really like changing people's life through technology. Now, having said that, over the years we've been investing in infrastructure, which is the very fundamental pillar to drive innovation. For us, we thought it's important that we implement our vision of digitizing Tanzania and ensuring that no one is left behind. So those two were really critical for us, and it's really states how passionate we are when it comes to innovation. And for us, we take it very seriously. It's part of our game. As I've said, it's a DNA. We cannot succeed, and we cannot really win if we don't innovate. So the industry, the company, the culture, is a purpose-led organization. We have to embrace and really go together with the local partners to ensure that we really drive the innovation into reality. Yeah.
Thank you, Nguvu. And I'll actually come back to you with some follow-up questions on what you just said. But let me jump to Edwin quickly. Edwin, this collaborative union, and the one who oversaw the operations of the accelerator, you launched back in late 2019 to the time I think you had the demo day, that last day. Could you just walk us through everything that had happened in between?
Yeah, thank you. 2019, it's a long time, but we actually see like yesterday. Yeah, so I think for the accelerator, first of all, for those who don't understand what accelerator is, it's more of most of the startup, they have not just an idea, but more of minimum viable product, the MVP, whereby they'll be looking more on the support, either technical support, collaboration, either in terms of investment, marketing, and everything in between. And then for us, we look into this market and actually find a gap that there were a gap between the corporate jump into this startup ecosystem. Everyone was on their own code. So we form a smart lab whereby our main vision and key was to link learners, startup, and corporate. And of course, sitting with the corporate, we get to partner with Vodacom as corporate innovators, because Vodacom was very fast in terms of trying to impact community and trying to look into what are the challenges involved. So due to that spirit, it's when we form the Vodacom Accelerator. And then, of course, in Tanzania, since Vodacom is a leading telecom, both in data especially, and of course most of the innovators on this digital economy, they are looking to see they can have a certain product, but where can they connect so that they can get more users. And when you look in terms of demographic, you see either you go to telecom, you go to maybe banks, you go to FMCG. Telecom will be the key because most of the this innovation are digital product-oriented innovation. And if it's digital, that means need connectivity. If it's need connectivity, which means need telecom. And since Vodacom is part of the leading around that, that's where we come through. And then, of course, we launched with a lot of excitement. Everyone was involved, from the corporate level. That means everyone from the top to the bottom, trying to explain to them what accelerator is so that we can get a success. That is to say, even the internal core members at Vodacom and of course at Smart Lab to really understand what is our mission. And of course we launched it in 2015. We got a lot of application, more than 500 plus application we got. But of course our key was at least to impact 4 startup. So within that we had a window of 3 months in terms of application, and then after that we had another 3 months in terms of acceleration. So from that 500 we filtered into about 10 to 12 startup, whereby now they got the acceleration in terms of time to build, time to go through the product, get to be mentored with a corporate partner from Vodacom and other stakeholders in the pipeline of investors and mentors through Smart Lab. And then at the end of the day, we do the final accelerator whereby we got our aim, again, we say we wanted top 3. But within that challenge, we see like there was a very good solution. So sometimes when you set a goal, it's not like if you set 3, you have to get 3. If even those 3, they're not performing, pretty much maybe you can get 1. But lucky for us, we get to see more innovators. So we decide to move with 4 startup. And then, of course, we did with them now more than 32 workshop. We link them with investors and mentors, not just in Tanzania, but across the world, because we have partnership with other investors in South Africa, US, Nairobi, and so forth. But the major learning and shift around that was immediately when we launched the acceleration, then the COVID came. So within that COVID, luckily we are working with innovators. So we innovated through it in terms of how we can do it. So all these activities was actually being done through online. So we had the Zoom platform, and then of course from the corporate level. So it was very exciting journey. And then of course right now we already have a setup with the winners, which we are discussing with them today. And the next step is we have just finalized the due diligence and everything, try now to look in terms of how we can go on the other step while looking forward to see what will be the impact. And during this COVID period, I was looking in terms of numbers, and most of the startup which we have, they actually grew in terms of revenue up to 185%, 285%. Digital. And sometimes we say digital is not just an app. Digital through the internet, through SMS, through USSD, and all this connection. And this comes through with a lot of partnership because, let's say, for example, during that COVID, while we are doing acceleration, we work together with, Smart Class, whereby Vodacom did the exclusivity to anyone through the network to learn with the tutors without spending data. And of course, that give also more awareness with that. And those are the connection which we need. And of course, we'll be looking more to see what other partners we can grow around. Thank you.
Thank you, Edwin. So that was the entire journey of the accelerator. What has your briefly, and just in order to avoid repetitive, let's do an additive model. Just one experience from you, allowing the rest to also have some chance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So my experience was good as more doors opened after our startup got selected to Vodacom Accelerator. So I remember that when I was lobbying or trying to talk to insurance companies and tell them that I want to change the insurance industry, I want to change how people purchase and use the health insurance policies. And also I told them I want to change on how current insurance policies really work. They look at me and said that, you see, we are an insurance company with $1 million, and we can do this by ourselves. Who are you, a fresh graduate? But when I got selected to Vodacom Accelerator, I remember I told my colleagues, I discussed with them, I printed that banner that our startup is selected, so we're now under Vodacom, and went to them showing them that we are working with Vodacom, and they accepted everything, and they even took me to the CEO so that they can have more discussion with you. Yeah, so it was good, and we are thankful for that, and we're excited on our next journey to do the remarkable change on the insurance industry. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Shilton. Adam, over to you. What has your experience been in terms of what have you actually benefited from the accelerator that you never thought you would be able to on your own?
I can speak about my own, I can speak about a company. So what we have experienced about a company, the first thing is like comprehensive support. Actually just learning from global successful entrepreneurs, learning from investors, learning from sharing with them their wisdom and other business expertise in the ecosystem who are brought by Vodacom Accelerator to give us knowledge on how to run things. It was awesome. Also looking at there are other founders of other startups there. We're learning together. We get time even for one-on-one room between ourselves. So you learn how they build their stuff. They learn how we are building our stuff. So that increasing our knowledge. Another thing which quickly we benefited is like getting access to investors. Currently, Smart Class, we have finished with one USA investor due diligence, but they know us through Vodacom Accelerators. They just read our article through LinkedIn, and they just get interested how we explain about winning, and we pass all through, so we are hoping soon we'll have great news for us, but all brought by Vodacom Accelerator. And another thing very quickly is about skills development. Like, building startup is very lonely journey, and everything is like imagination. You do things by imagination, but sitting aside with business expertise, and they teach you about sales and marketing, teach you about communication, teach you about finances, and they give you more advantage about technical skills. That is very awesome. You build something like, you move to build from imagination to build the thing which people's want. So we benefit a lot, and we thank Vodacom Accelerator for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Yasin, what are your thoughts?
Thank you. For us, for instance, when we join the accelerator program, we join while we offering the service through just one channel. So we had an application within Telegram applications. That was the point when we joined Vodacom Accelerator program. But until we wind up with Vodacom Accelerator program, in terms of demo, we was already have more than 3 channels of offering the service. Means we was using again calls instead of Telegram. We was using SMS, which we working with Vodacom again to implement it to USSD mode. Again, through calls, we are working on improving it to IVR system, whereby people will be communicating us through calls, but they can have a number of channels to talk with different doctors through those calls. So you can see the way we join and the way we get out there, it's a huge step. But again, we get connected with different mentors, which until today, we can check them anytime, at any moment, and they can give us advice. And some of them, they've been recommending us to different participation of seminars and competitions which we've been participating. Both of them was from Vodacom Accelerator program. So to us, is a huge, huge step for Nsima e-dispensary.
Thank you, Yasin. And you, John?
Thank you so much. Quite honestly, the entire period of acceleration was, it was a PhD in digitalization or technology, because it was an intensive session of training. Like when I say intensive, it was really intensive. Like we had sessions that ran in the morning, in the afternoon, the evening, and we really learned a lot of things. But what really excited me was a chance to take the headache of payment system integration away. For any person who has tried to go through the process of integrating their application or their solution with mobile payment systems, it is, I don't know, sorry to use this word, it's a pain in the ass to follow through this process, because it takes, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months. But we had a chance, like all the startups who participated in the Vodacom Accelerator program, had a chance to make, to have the integration done with Vodacom for free. So that was really exciting, and we really appreciate that. But what I appreciate most is the knowledge and the skills and the connection. What really Adam was talking about. We really had a chance to integrate and learn from each other, and see how we can make our products better. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think what's powerful that most of you have already said is that the collaboration amongst yourselves, what you had made with each other, trying to understand lessons learned, supporting each other. So it was, I feel it was more of a family other than just a program individually. Now, since this was the first of its kind in Tanzania, correct me if I'm wrong, Edwin, this type of collaborations, I'm sure there must have been a lot of challenges, lessons learned. Please just, can you highlight 2 or 3? Then I'll jump to Nguvu quickly. He can also give me some insights from his side, and we'll see where we move from there. Edwin, Karibu.
Yeah, of course, challenges are always there, but I think also there are some new opportunity, especially right now, whereby for Vodacom to be the first, corporate to jump into startup for acceleration, which actually have impact other corporate to come through. So we have seen different banks, we have seen competitive telco, which are also coming. That is to say, it will bring and open more opportunity to the startup and innovators in between. And the good thing is for them to really understand that, a startup or maybe when someone have an idea, they still have an idea, but they need to get a opportunity to be listened. And of course, through our regulations and everything, also to give a chance in terms of them to test. Some can fail, some can pass, but in between, the success can be there. And of course, also another opportunity for corporate and for them to see the future. That's why they have to do this more. It's more of opening the partnership for them to create new business model. Because if they are doing X and then a startup come and add value on top of it, but again to keep their customer happy, to be locked so that they doesn't go into competitor, that's really key. So my argue is just to make sure the corporate understand that startup are not competitors, but they are more of collaborators to add more value into their business from product, service, and solution. And another thing also to bring new culture, because especially in Tanzania, the population now, it's more of youth. If the population is more of youth, we are the one understand, what's actually needed. So those kind of things which we need and we see the corporate are not providing, that's where we are coming up with the idea and trying to disrupt them, but in terms of collaboration. Of course, during our acceleration of, processes, because, startup, they have different language, and the corporate, they have different language. So in corporate, it's more of, documentation. Do you have this? Do you have that? Do you don't have even money to go and register, because when you register, you need to start paying tax, while I'm actually on the idea stage. But luckily, partner like Vodacom really understand what the accelerator and digital collaboration means. That is to say, to give them the window in terms of try, even to integrate through M-Pesa payment through the sandbox, which at the end of the day, the Vodacom see the number. And now they open the Vodacom M-Pesa Open API, whereby anyone can come and integrate, not just within the accelerator. And of course, the challenge also is most of the innovators, they have digital product. Digital product, that means most of them, they are looking in terms of apps. But of course, we need to push to see how can this app going to penetrate through the normal, mamalishe kind of phone, Kitochi phone, whereby the service can be delivered through SMS and, USSD. Because the smartphone penetration still, it's under, 30% in terms of the internet. Though the government have already pledged, by 2025, pretty much the telecoms, they're going to expand across, different regions to the extent up to 85%. With that saying, we subsidize in terms of the smartphone to be cheaper, because still now smartphones are highly in pricing. Pretty much it's going to open a lot of opportunity for the innovators to connect and deliver today, create more employment. Understand that when they allow this startup to bring this new idea, that means it's new business model. Pretty much at the end of the day, when this expand, employ more people. That means not directly these people to be employed in the corporate, but they can be employed through the startup and create more job. Imagine, let's say, now we have 4 startup. They used to be maybe 3 to 5, but pretty much if they expand up to 100 and 150 employees times 10, it's 1,000 of jobs. So with more of this kind of corporate acceleration, will open more channels and help the government to solve the employment solution.
Thank you, Edwin. I think you've largely extended the explanation. Let's just throw it to Nguvu. Nguvu, what are your thoughts? What were the main challenges from the corporate side? Edwin has just mentioned on the language gap between the startups and the corporates, which we very well know that exists. Tell me, what has your experience been? What were the main challenges?
Yeah, I think Yvonne from my experience with this program, capacity from corporate point of view wasn't a challenge, rather an opportunity again. And I think I would like to put very clear that we really like to have more corporate engaging in this kind of activities, because from the beginning you heard what Edwin said, that we thought we are looking about to have a few number of startups, but the applicants were more than 500. So that number is too big, and we could only accommodate 15. So to me, that's it's a problem. Why not 100, and why not 200 sector? And this year, even the week of innovation has gone to more than 7 regions. So it means there is huge number of startups out there, and we as corporate, we need to step up and work together to ensure that we assist as much as possible. So it's a challenge and also opportunity, and I think it still exists. I don't know if today we announce another session. I'm not telling that I'm going to announce, but if last the first phase had 500 applicants, maybe it should be 10 times, or I don't know. And even I don't know how many hubs are there at this point in time. We had like 60. Even if we partner with all the hubs, do they have that capacity to accommodate all applicants throughout the country? So I think we have to really look and get the proper dimensionings and the capacity issue addressed, because at this point in time, you can see even from government point of view, there's huge focus when it comes to ICT because of the impact it brings to the economy. So, yeah, capacity.
I hear you. So I hear from Nguvu, it's capacity. Edwin, you spoke of processes. Awesome. But look, Nguvu, yes, I'm still with you. So you said you might not mention this, but I'm really going to ask you, because I know mostly a lot of us would like to know what next. It's been 1 year. 1 year has passed. We've seen the first cohort go through. Yes, there have been challenges. Yes, there have been learnings, good learnings. Yes, we've supported the ecosystem Vodacom has to the best of its ability. Then what next? Is there going to be a year 2, year 3, year 4? What does Vodacom have in store in this area?
Okay. Thank you, Yvonne. Once again, we'd love to continue with these guys, because we want them to not only double or triple, but we want them to be big. So we have to support them for at least another year. And for sure, we need also to open for others. That's why I'm worried. That's why I have to repeat on capacity. So we love also to have another session. So we have to have Vodacom Accelerator Program 2, which we would like to have before end of next quarter. So timelines of September will be okay. So at this point in time, we should continue with these guys for a minimum of 1 year, so that we really, because of the challenges we had, so the whole world was tested with the pandemic last year. So a lot of things were not meant to go virtually, and we believe some opportunities from great mentors and some leaders were not 100% utilized during that virtual moment. So we are thinking of having them and let them really get those deals. You heard from Adam, you heard from Shilton, all of them, they're excited for the big deal. So let's harness and keep them on the right momentum until when they can run themselves. Yeah.
Thank you.
So the good news is Vodacom is not stopping this. We are continuing with this.
All right. Thank you, Nguvu. So what I've just heard is you will continue supporting the 4 winners the ones that we have right here as the panelists, and we're looking forward to a second cohort in the third quarter towards the end of the year. Thank you very much. Now, I think this is an important question because with every initiative or program, there must be set objectives and what we envision with, as outcomes from these programs. Edwin, over to you. Has this program, to your opinion, achieved its objectives?
The program really achieved a lot of objective, but of course with the learning, that means it's actually even succeed of other things which we didn't overlook. The first one is our mission both on Vodacom side and Smart Lab side in terms of connecting people. So for us being able to connect, you know, the learners from the startup together with corporate, together with, you know, the mentors and different other institutions in terms of partner, it's actually really tick the box in terms of awareness. And also not only mentors, but those mentors which turn into investors, because the mentors was looking in terms of mentoring on something which they really understand and they really connected into. So with that, actually open a lot of doors. Another thing is the sort of like the value which we didn't look from the beginning, but actually it's actually impact the result was more of the growth in terms of numbers. The numbers of the users through the startup applications, the users of the product, but also the revenue in terms of the people who are willing to pay for it. But again, that spike a lot of others to be, you know, able to be motivated with this process, because for the past 1 year we've been getting comments on Vodacom Accelerator channels in terms of which one will be next, when is next, when is next. We have an ideas and everything. And the good thing is we have seen the HDIF launching their innovate.co.tz, trying to map out all the startup. But again, we'll see how we can collaborate with them and try to map up with more information, not just to put the name of the startup, but also to put in terms of the stages. This is startup X, I've done XXX, I've done with accelerator XYZ, so that we see the value of this accelerator, because there are many accelerators at the moment running around, but also what will be the value output of this accelerator, so that at the end of the day, it can be measured. So due to that, this program to me was success through learning. That is, say, phase 2, we see more impact, while still, you know, assisting the result of this one, as Nguvu promised that we can support them for 1 year. That means it will be more of the year of growth. Growth in terms of revenue, but growth in terms of impact, the users which they intended to solve their challenges.
Thank you. Thank you, Edwin. And Nguvu?
Yeah, I would like to add again. So, to me, I think, despite of all the challenges that were not in our control, the like of pandemics that we had, I see huge improvement as we've witnessed from the startups themselves, but also it also brought pressure to us as a corporate entity. And again, Edwin, we don't really regard startups as competitors. We love them, and as a technology company, we like competition, and that brings challenges, and it's like a catalyst in the innovation ecosystem as well. So one of the things that we realized was the outcry on how difficult was to connect with our platform. To mention a few, the mobile money platform. I think one has also said before that he couldn't believe that he could finally connect easily. So we went further by releasing the open API, and we saw that the startups, they took that also very positively to still one of the startup words that we gave an earlier Christmas. I remember that comment. But it is not something that it ended at the hall when we were launching OpenAPI. There are over 20 live connection on OpenAPI. So it means, and it's less than a year. So come October, we launched October last year. So come October, maybe we'll have more numbers. So really there was a need, and we're happy that the startups are using. And I'm expecting today also to get feedback. How easy is it? Do we need to improve or in some areas and the like? So to me, the program was so successful. I got more than the 4 products because all the 15 guys, they had wonderful ideas. And I'm sure some of them, they will soon be part of our products. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Nguvu. As we are about to wind our discussion, may I just ask all our virtual audience out there, you may start writing your question, bringing them in, and we'll have Rachel, my co-moderator, just ask them when the time comes. Edwin, now this would be for you because you're from the innovation ecosystem. I understand you're part of the association, the Tanzanian Startup Association. With the collaborations that already exist between Vodacom and Smart Lab, and we are seeing more corporates coming into the ecosystem, into the picture, a lot of hackathons here and there, etc. What do you think, in your opinion, would be the conversation in the next 5 years with regards to the collaborations between corporates and the ecosystem?
I think the key word of, going forward, it's more of collaboration. In collaboration, I mean, for us also, both startup users and corporate, to stay positive, Of course, because in each and every product, if you want to look into the weakness only, you'll find a lot. But if you choose to look on the positivity and trying to move through that, it's really important. It's going to encourage in terms of growth. So collaboration is key. And when I say collaboration, I like to quote the African proverb, which say, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, we go together. So we have all need to come and go together. Not only, let's say, telecom like Vodacom, because let's say, whereby it's more of like an insurance product. So collaboration for us to come together, it's more of, we partner with Vodacom in terms of connectivity, but also we need to partner with insurance in terms of insuring, the users. But not only that, partner with the government in terms of regulations, because they have to adjust, because what is delivering, or most of the digital economy deliverable, it's more things which are new, creating new models and creating new era. So with that say, I'm looking into the ecosystem growth of collaboration and people to talk with each other, but also the most important thing, to try and bring the regulators on the process. Because all these kind of things we do without bringing the regulators, without bringing the government to give the sandbox or to give the window to try, the growth will not going to happen. Even in terms of investment, because we have seen a lot of investment going into our neighbors like Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria. It's just because the government have opened in terms of giving and adjusting regulation so that people can come in and invest. Because when investors come, before they come, they want to know how they can exit. So they need to see the exit door in terms of revenue, in terms of tax, in terms of everything. So if we can also pitch this growth into these other partners, from also development partners, because development partner, at least sometimes they can give a seed round in terms of what it depends also on the development partner, what are they trying to impact. But also I argue in terms of the development partner to try to look in terms of allowing the startup to bring the business model, not just impact. Because if it's just impact and then you don't allow those one who are going to generate revenue, that means if the fund end, and that startup will die. So that's really important thing for a development partner, to have a business mindset with the impact, of course, on top of it. So at the end of the day, in 360, it's a collaboration. Collaboration from corporate, collaboration from regulators, collaboration between startup themselves. Because if now you're on stage B, another one is on seed level, that means they can come to you trying to learn before even going to the investor. Or if maybe you understand how to integrate with the Vodacom API, instead of this guy going from the scratch, trying to read that, they can come and try to see how is your codes look. Can you even use your pay bill number until when mine is working, it's when I can do the integration. So even the collaboration between the startup in terms of learning, the corporate in terms of, let's say, Vodacom to give the good word for other corporate to really understand the importance. And then at the end of the day, we'll start growing and competing with other neighbors. And the future, it's really going to be exciting.
Thanks, thank you, Edwin. And I think collaboration is something I've heard from the beginning of this week in the other events. From the launch to the opening, it's been about collaborations throughout all the stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem coming together. Great stuff. So Nguvu, over to you. What role do you think corporates should play in developing the ecosystem? As a corporate yourself, being in the corporate world, and with Vodacom, as Vodacom has already started the journey, what role do you think other corporates should also play and join in?
Thank you, Yvonne. I think apart from support to the startups and the entire innovation ecosystem, but also I think again is collaboration, strategic partnerships with the stakeholders, not only corporate themselves, but also the government. The government plays a very great role on leveling the playing field. I was happy to hear that there is an act coming to guide innovation space. I hope that will come so quick, because it's very difficult to apply brakes on innovation. It kills it, and as you heard from themselves, these guys, they come from idea, and once they get those barriers when it comes to regulations, registrations, too many requirements, it really takes them down when it comes to momentum. So we need to speed up regulations, and if not, then let's let it go unregulated. It happens before, because some of the services were launched when the regulations were not there, and the regulation came. So if we are really serious on innovation, and if we are really also serious on digital economy, I think it's high time for all the stakeholders, including the corporate, to really improve and increase their focus on supporting startups.
Thank you, and especially when you talk about corporates, right now in this era, corporates are all about digital transformation, and we've seen last year, 2020, obviously with the pandemic, a lot of them were forced into the digital transformation without them being ready. So everyone was forced to be in that area. So I think, yes, it's for us as corporates, and for the corporates in the audience and in the virtual platforms, it's not only, our duty is not only within our businesses, but also if we want to transform digitally, we have to look out, bring in the innovation locally, especially, and encourage local innovation. Right? So Rachel, over to you. I think now it's time to start receiving questions from the audience. I wonder if we have
Asante kwa contribution from the panel and the main speaker. So my key question is, I have seen a lot of international development partners coming on board, but I was wondering, how do local development partners because you have the likes of Smart Class working on the education sector, and we have a lot of NGOs
Okay, yeah, I think that's a very interesting question. That's why, I mean, for us, our cries has been into more of collaboration. And you see, when we say corporate, we don't just mean corporate in terms of profit-oriented company. So we mean both profit and non-profit. And again, of course, for the non-profit, sometimes they drive their agenda based on who is their main funder, based the international level and the local level. So with this kind of, you know, already, let's say someone like profit company like Vodacom have already, you know, placed a bet for the startup. Pretty much now it will be more of the push to see also the non-profit companies in terms of the NGOs, either it's local or international, to join the process. And we have seen the likes of, you know, HDIF, FSDT, and others, which these are more of the local development. But now our main job will be how can we also try to make sure the local NGOs understand? Because let's say, for example, you know, education, which is really key. How can we link, you know, Smart Class and the guys, for example, like Hakelimu? What will be the impact around that? Because we are all solved in terms of to get the kid get educated for their future development. So those will be the role at which we take it as a challenge and see how we can push it forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Edwin. Is there another question from the audience? Anyone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so my question goes to Nguvu. We are seeing other telcos that are focusing more into purely investment, and some are even part of syndicate funds. So what is the future for Vodacom's investment in the innovation through the accelerator model, or there are other models that Vodacom is looking to venture into?
Thank you for another good question. So from Vodacom point of view, strategically, innovation is part of our DNA, and anything we do, it's come from the innovation mind point of view. So we are not going to diversify into innovation internally. So what we did was to get also similar output or similar impact from the external stakeholders point of view. So we are not going to copy what the other guys are doing. We will continue with our way, with the mind that we need to ensure that we really change people's life through technology. So it's not the part of CSR, rather than it's a strategic decision to ensure that we drive innovation to the next level.
Thank you, Nguvu. Anyone else? Yes.
Hello, my name is Jumanne from Sahara Ventures. First of all, I'd like to commend the work that my good brother Edwin and Vodacom are doing. We have come so far actually from corporate sponsoring hackathons to actually running proper programs like an accelerator. I think that is something that needs to be commended. My question first will be to Edwin. What are the lessons learned when you are trying to engage with regional and international VCs, part of the Vodacom Accelerator, in terms of looking for follow-on financing for the startup that you are working with? Are there any specific issues you faced in terms of getting follow-on investment for those businesses, and what can we do to fix it together? I'm open to hear that. And another question is to Nguvu, building up from the question that Paul asked. You're taking a very concrete direction in Vodacom, and that's very good. But are we looking to see things like corporate venture capital, sprints between corporate and startups emerging for you guys to adapt solutions from the ecosystem? What are the next concrete steps should we expect to see after this accelerator? Thank you so much.
Jumanne, thanks for your question. Yeah, so regarding the involvement of the venture capitalists together with the PV for financing, the main challenge which actually we get is first, they want to get to understand everything about the startup without them, of course, showing what kind of commitment they are going to put. And another thing was more of, which was key, the regulation in terms of their exit. Because the key thing for them is to see how are they going to exit. Because for them, their mindset was to come as a seed investor. But for them to come, that means they come as a platform for them to onboard the other investor. So the key thing is to clearly see the exit, not only the exit from the startup point of view, but the exit in terms of the regulation of how can, if they're going to put the money, also how can they put the output of their money. And the major other thing was more of the language between the current startup in terms of the startup which is in the seed level, whereby someone can ask you in the next maybe 5 years, where will you be? While actually they don't even know in the next few months, how are they going to survive? So the most important thing is the investors, they really need to understand the role of the startup, especially the one which they are actually looking to raise for the seed level, whereby they have to take, risk rather than asking a lot of document like a bank, because if it's that, then everyone can go to the bank. But for the investors, the major thing, it's all about taking risk. No one wants to take risk, and of course the startup, they don't want to give it all. So in between, that was the major challenge. But we are looking to see what will be other solution which can be built on top of it.
Thank you. Thank you, Jumanne. As you recommend, as you say, as you recommended us, we also, our personal would like to also take this opportunity to recommend you for the past 7+ years on the hustle and the struggle behind startups in Tanzania. So I think the future is really near, and don't give up, you and your other colleagues. You have gone from one hub to over 60 now. So for sure, the good job that you have been delivering or working shouldn't stop. So you should continue. Now, to answer your question, it comes in two folds. One, we'll continue supporting depending on the type of solutions these startups are coming with. So if they really align with your strategy, it's very easy for us to partner with them and to scale up into relevant and significant value. So there are some that we've already started talking with them to ensure that we adopt or we onboard them, and soon they will become our partners when it comes to product and services. Those with the product that we see they've got future, they are really potential, but they are not in line with our strategy or not in line with our space, we'll continue supporting them. And as Edwin
good startups will probably not get a chance to be under accelerators. What advice would you give a budding startup to able to cope with this situation at the moment? We can start with Nguvu, and then maybe one of the startups can also comment to this question.
Thank you. Once again, Rachel, as I've said, capacity, because we saw from this program that there were 500 applicants. 15 were selected based on our own criteria. As we are on telecom and digital industry, we wanted those that are really going to the direction of the digital area point of view. But there are some which were okay, though they were not aligning with our digital strategy. So we need other corporates to join the club so that we can really make a better future. So it's a no-brainer that it's true that the capacity is not enough to accommodate the number of startups that are existing at this point in time in this country. Yeah.
Very true. Anyone of the startups would like to comment? Yes, Yasin.
On my side, what I can advise other startups, what they're supposed to do is to keep what they are doing. Whether at that point they have the access of joining the accelerator program or getting fund, they don't have that access at that moment, they have to keep doing what they are doing. Because what's very important is the business itself. Once the business grow, the other stakeholders will come in, whether in accelerator program or in different angle. They will just join in the force.
Very good point. Thank you, Yasin. Okay, we have a question from an anonymous attendee. My question is around the investment model that currently exists. There's a general perception that big corporates take a large chunk of profits generated, such as 60-40 split, which causes startups to avoid corporate investors. What would your advice to corporate and to startups? So Edwin, you touched upon this. Would you like to go for the corporates? And then the startups, you can also comment.
Yeah, I think that perception of 60-40, 50-50, it's there. And I can say it's more of the learning of what's the past, because there is a difference between the startup partnership in terms of investment, and there is a difference between value-added service. Because in the past, before startup, let's say telecom, they used to partner with musicians, they used to partner with whatever, whereby, and even the news, news anchors, in terms of you bring your content and then we'll do everything. Since we are doing everything, we are going to take 60, 70, even 95%, and then you get your profit of whatever that. But that was like more of, them providing just content. But now when it's come to startup or this digital solution, it's different. It's not content delivery. It's more of the service delivery. Because if, let's say, I'm doing, health insurance, and someone pay 100 shillings, whereby maybe 80 shillings is going to, 80% is going to the insurance, remaining with 20, and then within that 20, 10% is my operation, remain 10, then that 10, it's when we can discuss with the corporate in terms of, the profit itself is not this. The number of what you are talking about in terms of 60-50, not from the payment point of view. We need to look in terms of the end number. So the most key, it's more of when you have a product and you go into partnership, is trying to be transparent in terms of showcasing, that numbers to the corporate themselves, so that they can see, even if they have that mindset of 50-50, 70-30, where are they going to come at the end of the day? So for the startup, it's all about, you play with your number until even on that number you put your profit. That remaining profit, you discuss with the guys. You always need to be smart. But again, the most important thing is what value are you adding into this corporate? Because they have their goal, as you say in Google, say like, they also have their own strategic way of doing things. And in terms of the impact of impacting their consumers. So the major thing is for you to come with a service whereby you can really go into impact their users, at which them they cannot live without. Then you have more of mandate in terms of what are you going to negotiate. But even during that negotiation, really to bring people who have skills in terms of negotiation. So the most important thing for around the startup as well, don't try to do everything yourself. That's why we are talking about collaboration. You can be a founder but maybe have more of a knowledge in terms of business idea. Or you can be a founder but more knowledge in terms of development. Then if you're good in development, continue with that, but try to bring other co-founders who are good in terms of selling words. These are the sales and business development people. And also trying to get a consultation, because you don't need to really partner with someone from finance, but trying to get a consultation in terms of how can you put that number together in order for it to bring value. So that perception of, based on that anonymous question in terms of, corporate, they want more numbers, it's also depend on how you have presented it and what value have you showcasing it, so that at the end of the day, also corporate, they can see my profit is here. Based on this profits, what is my contribution? On this contribution, on my infrastructure, what can I give? And pretty much maybe you're asking on something which within that infrastructure, they already have unsold inventory. How can you plan something within that unsold inventory so that also the corporate, they can get something which they have not planned? And sometimes it doesn't need to be money 100%, but bring value to their users so that the corporate users, they cannot go to their competitor. If you show that value, pretty much you can be able to negotiate more. So it's all about negotiation. Unless Nguvu want to say something.
Yes, let's hear from Nguvu, the
Yeah,
corporate side.
I can add a little bit. So again, that's a very old and wrong perception, as what Edwin said. So ideally, it should come from the efforts required to deliver a certain service. So for me, I will check what is the cost of delivering that service based on my resource utilization. And thereafter, I will sit down and agree. And for sure, it's always a win-win, because as Edwin said, I will also do a risky assessment in terms of the what if I go with you or I don't go with you. What value do you bring? And at the end of the day, we reach an agreement. So there is no formula. Yeah. And each service, depending on the resource appetite, it won't be the same. That's why there's no formula. If you are a content provider, you do everything, even the content is your own. It's different if the content comes from me. So the cost of production is the one that really determines and dictates the whole negotiation session. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Nguvu.
Can I add something, please? I think as young innovators, we need to change the mindset, or rather the perspective, that the giants are looking at skimming us, or I don't know, like milking the last thought or solution that we have. Because what risk do I have if I own, let's say, 10% of Amazon? Like, do I have anything to lose? Nothing. What if I own 5% of Facebook? I hope they're starting to get the picture of what I'm trying to say here, that we should change the mindset from being just profits driven into solution driven. If your solution is good enough, I promise you people will jump in. Yeah. Quite honestly, to me, I feel if you're already thinking of, I don't know, 50, 80, 80, 20, 60, 40 ratios, quite honestly, I don't believe that you're confident enough about your idea. If you're confident enough about your idea, leave along the profits.
people will pay billions just to acquire 1% of what you have in your company. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Shilton, Adam.
Okay. Okay. I would like to remind also my fellow startups that right now Bill Gates owns only 1% of Microsoft, and he's on the top 5 of richest men in the world. So as a startup, we really need to focus on how advantage or benefits we will get after partnering with the startup, and also doing analysis on how far you can reach by going alone or going with a partner. As our telecom partner, we have an access to at first the customer base of more than 16 million people. That means if we were alone trying to sell an insurance, maybe we will do or maybe we'll reach only few people across the town. But with Vodacom, they can just send a message to remind people that they have health insurance services on board, so more people got information, and in short period of time we can get more customer base. And the projections that if we were alone, we have been doing that for the 10 years we'll get only on 1 year. Yeah, so that's an advantage of having a partner, and we need to look at things on a big picture and do mathematics. Thank you.
Thank you, Shilton. Okay, so one last question, and I would also like to hear it from Yvonne. Then we'll go with the gentlemen, Guvu and Edwin. How is the Vodacom Digital Accelerator planning to include more women in this space in terms of mentoring the young ladies that are struggling in the innovation space? Yvonne, I would very much like for you to start, as you're the project lead.
Thank you, Rachel. Actually, as you can see in front here among the panels, there's such a gender imbalance. But yes, so with the Vodacom Digital Accelerator, we noticed throughout the year that female-founded startups were quite few, and although we have some of the discussions we've had internally was how do we get female women more involved, girls. And as you recall, we also have a program called Like a Girl. So this is basically to empower young ladies, young girls into the STEM education and subjects. So with the coming accelerator, we are going to see how we're going to integrate between this Code Like a Girl project and the accelerator itself, and see how from the criteria of application, how we can kind of have a leeway for at least to encourage a lot more female startups. But this will not, I will definitely see within the coming accelerator cohort. Definitely it's something that we've noticed and we're working on. Thank you.
Mr. Commander, go ahead.
She has said it all. Yeah.
Edwin, would you like to comment?
Yeah. So I think it's more of awareness needed, and of course to give them an opportunity, extra opportunity into that. But not to say to give them special seat, but because at the end of the day we say everything need to be equal. But I think women, they have sort of like more opportunity to come up with more innovation, because they are the one understand family and what are the challenges within the family. So if we're trying to show them, how actually to scoop those kind of challenge and bring into a product, and for them to really understand how to drive it, it will really going to help during our campaign awareness for the application period. But the other thing, it's more of, the confidence and open for the network to, men can go everywhere. If you're being called even on the number, unknown number, you don't know, you are actually appearing there. But women, sometimes they want to know more. So with that, actually it's part of the challenge. But we argue to bring them and give them more, open door, so that we can receive more ideas from them as well.
Yeah, but Rachel, sorry. I remember during the demo day, Smart Class had a lady And also the founder of Nsima Dispensary is a lady. So they were supposed to be two, I think.
As well as hashtags,
Yes,
there's a woman.
So yeah, so the representation was there, but as you have heard, really we'll have to look in the other programs from our own Code Like a Girl to see where do they go after that, because so far over 120 have been benefited from that program. Now we need to go and look where are they. Do they still on the same digital innovation, software engineers mindset, or they've changed? Because it's very difficult, similar to what Edwin was saying, that if you ask a setup today where he or she will be in the next 5 years, it's very difficult. It's like asking your kid or your child where he or she will be after university. It's a bit complex.
Yes, Yasin, please add into that.
Yeah, maybe to add more on what Tungu said and Mr. Edwin. Actually, Nsima e-Dispensary has been founded by a lady, Mansoura Mtibora. So actually, referring to what Mr. Edwin said, like sometimes you find women, they have different responsibilities. So right now she's at maternity leave. That's why I came to represent her. Yeah, so that's say. And also she has been inspired because she's the one who, she's a doctor. So she's also been inspired by a woman, by a lady, her mother, who was a nurse. So that he inspired him to join into the health, until to the health business. So thank you.
Thank you, Yasin. All right, that's all for the questions. Should you like to know more about our startups winners, please visit Vodacom Digital Accelerator website, where you get to know about Smart Class, hashtag, Nsima e-Dispensary, as well as Shilton. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the panelists, Nguvu, Edwin, startups, Yvonne, thank you so much. And look out for the next cohort, which Nguvu had mentioned is coming out soon. Thank you all. Sorry, so we have a few videos that we'd like to share. We'll start with the launch event where we reminisce the journey of how the Vodacom Digital Accelerator started in 2019.
We are going to launch a Vodacom Digital Accelerator. The main focus for this project is to enable startup. And when we say startup, it's not someone who have an idea, but someone who have an idea, but they take a next step in terms of doing something with their idea.
And we've been really talking at length with SmartLab and where can we come in as a technology company, how can we bridge that gap? And we thought, okay, let's just maybe build this Vodacom Accelerator program, which I'm very, very happy to announce today officially that finally it's coming into place.
Well, Vodacom says the future is exciting, so I think the future of innovation in Tanzania is quite exciting, I can say by now. What I want to say is congratulations to SmartLab and Vodacom for taking the first step. I think this is just the first step towards a long journey, which is going to be very exciting.
My name is Shilton Olomi, and I'm also a founder and CEO of MyHigh. My name is Salman Karmali.
I, Mohammed Jawad, was approached by Salman 3 months ago to have been a co-founder of Bongo Voucher.
My name is Albany James. I'm the founder of Food Sasa.
My name is Frederick Kapina. We decided to start a new startup called Petro.
My name is George Isaac Imali. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of Smartco Enterprise Limited.
My name is George Mariare, founder of Wakala Search.
My name is Isaac Amini, co-founder of TakaCycle.
My name is John Jackson. I am co-founder and business developer for #Pools.
I'm Mansoura Musa Bintibora. I'm a founder of Minsima TZ.
My name is Michael Godfrey Sai. I'm the founder and the CEO at Kasoma International.
My name is Musa. I'm a design lead at EcoShilling.
My name is Patricia Mhekwa. I'm founder of Study Buddy.
I'm Salvatore Casey, and I'm the founder of Smart Class.
Smartco and Vodacom have decided to partner and create this amazing and acceleration program whereby we incubate and sit with startups to actually nurture their idea.
At Vodacom, we embrace disruption. We have decided to invest in this program to work with innovative startups and support youth.
In the program, entrepreneurs are matched with great mentors, introduced to potential co-founders, clients, partners, and investors.
The mentorship aspect of the program comes with a lot of advantages. You give them access to a diverse pool of vital expertise.
Key thing in which the teams will learn in this program is how to adapt using agile principles, how to work together, and how to best build the right culture fit for their company so that they can remain competitive against current and also future competition.
So to be in the program, you need to have a viable product or prototype. And on top of that, you have to be using technology in one way or the other in your business.
It's not about building businesses and get profit. It's about these products and services change the lives of people or the community. They bring impact in the community.
The program is in the form of one-on-one sessions with the mentors, and we also have workshops and boot camps that will help you build your startup and as well test with the users.
The accelerator program, it leads us in a way that we can say we are the same as we started. We are very different now, and we are looking forward to cooperate with Vodacom and Smart Lab so that to show that the skills which we have gained, they can take Smart Class to the world.
Actually, the competition has been for 13 weeks, and it has been very intensive, but we have got a chance to learn from different people, being mentors and our fellow startups, and we have really put in a lot of work, I can say. We tried our best, and here are the results.
I expect that our business will go higher, and in the future, the plans we had we will accomplish, and we are looking forward to have marketing and branding from Vodacom and Smart Lab.
During the accelerator phase, the sessions were so tight, and we managed to participate on all sessions. We've learned so much from our mentors and stakeholders who were teaching us during the accelerator program. We can't wait to start a new journey on implementing our ideas and companies in cooperation with Smartcos and Smart Lab and Vodacom Tanzania. We are so excited.
Wow, that was quite a journey. Since 2019, as you can see, the startups had gone through a lot, and for them to get here, it's been amazing for us working on the project. And we just like to say once more, if you are confident about your idea or your company, we welcome you to join us in the next accelerator program. Thank you. Can we have a group photo?